Hey, welcome to Podcast from the Pit Toy Talk Edition with Campbell, Kiwi G.I. Joe Custom.
That's
How,
me.
how are you today?
I'm pretty good, mate. Pretty good. It's hit winter here in New Zealand, so I'm wrapped up warm. I don't have my normal Kiwi Just Customs hoodie on me, but it's all good.
Yeah, I still want one of those. We got to figure out a way I can order one
Oh yeah,
because
yeah, we can
I will
easily do that.
definitely represent for you because I think not only do you do a good show, your custom work's amazing. You're just a good guy, and I always want to support friends. So,
Funny you should say that. I've got something that's released in about a minute's time, and check that out. And that's something I've done for a mate. So what I'm doing lately is I'm doing customs on fellow YouTubers that are almost like good buddies, good friends.
mhm.
And I want to do a custom of yourself too. I know you're into cobras,
Yeah,
um, but I've got a fair idea of what I could do. I'm not sure what, but I'll figure something out.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and also hillbilly too. Hillbilly is easy. I've got his sort of head sculpt already. I just need to add in the glasses.
right. Yeah, Hillbilly's funny. So he always makes the show interesting.
Oh, he's great. I love him.
You never know what's gonna come out of his mouth. But, I'm actually gonna do one of these with him so people can get to know Hillbilly more as Hillbilly and
That's
not
cool.
just yeah, Hillbilly from Podcast from the Pit. Uh, I told him the other day that, honestly, if it wasn't for him, Podcast from the Pit would have died over a year ago because I don't wanna do this by myself, and
Yeah,
Matt's busy all the time.
yeah. I feel the same with my brother and myself. Like,
Mhm.
I've done a couple of live streams on my own, but I really think that it's my brother that makes the show. If you know what I
Well,
mean? It's
you're so
like
fun
it's your
together.
yeah, 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 yeah. We've got to get some more live streams up and going. Him and I. But we've just been pretty slack with life and all that. That's
Yeah.
probably why I haven't been doing any videos for the last month or so. But I've got one out tomorrow or tonight actually. Today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. I'll probably watch it at work tomorrow morning, so that's great.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one thing at my job. I've got the availability to. I work at a desk, so as long as I'm doing my job, I can have YouTube up and make sure my friends get views and
Yeah.
comments, and it's. I'm glad I'm able to do that. Very thankful.
Yeah, I don't have that sort of luxury, except if there's like a major. So I work in a place which makes refrigeration coils.
Hmm.
So unless there's a point where it's literally a big ass coil, and when you're expanding, it takes a while. You can probably put my earbuds on, and I can't really watch you, but I can listen to you. And that's the beautiful thing about podcasts.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't
That's
actually need to watch them. You can actually just listen, and even listening. And I listened to a few of you guys on the drive to work or home.
hmm
It's just literally funny as like
yeah. I mean, that's basically what I do. It's just I've got one of those stand-up desks, but I always sit down. So it comes down. I've got a little ledge. I kinda put my phone underneath it, so I'm not tempted to sit there and just watch it the whole time because I do have work to do,
yeah,
and
yeah, same here. Yeah,
they're nice enough to let me
exactly.
listen to it, so I don't wanna take advantage.
I'm kind of lucky that my smoko break is around about the same time as Lawrence from Punk with Toys. He goes
Mhm.
on about 3 o'clock
Yeah,
for my time on Smoko. So I've got like 15 minutes to watch him, and then I just either okay, this is getting really interesting. I just put my earbud on and earmuffs on, earbuds in one ear, and just carry on
yeah.
working. Um, and then if I didn't sort of if I didn't actually do that, I'll just basically watch it on the drive home, and on the way, hey, you know, just finish
Yeah.
watching the rest when I get home.
Yeah, it's funny what we, how we find time for the stuff we love, you know?
Yep, yeah, no, that's true.
So, I got a few questions, But like I said before, elaborate as much as you want. This is, all about getting to know Campbell.
Yeah, yeah, no, far away.
Let's go back to your childhood. What were your childhood
Ah,
toys?
childhood Campbell. Yeah, so I was the middle son of I've got my oldest brother, myself, and Quentin, as you know, from the
Mhm.
Barrett's podcast. So I was in the middle, and I think I had this passion for the army, probably because to do with my grandfather, but I think at an early age I took charge attitude, but also fun.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was an instigator. I was an instigator for a lot of things when I was a kid. Oh my god. um, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. It was great. Uh, I do recall. I do recall sort of having this bright idea as kids. Like we had a jungle gyms. You used to get like portable jungle gyms, and my parents saved up enough to get this and had like a slide. So my idea was to get a trike. We put the trike, climb up the trike, and just wheel ourselves down. How we didn't break any bones or injured ourselves, I have no idea. I literally have no idea. Probably made us stronger, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. So I had a pretty good childhood, actually. Yeah, my dad worked at New Zealand Post. He was a postman, and my mum stayed at home. And they work really hard. I mean, my dad worked really hard. He had like split shifts,
Mhm.
so we didn't see much of him. But when we do see him, man, he was awesome, mate. Literally, he was the kindest person ever. And I remember our first. So here in New Zealand, we get like things like called buzzy bees. So it's hard to explain, but it basically is it's a buzzy bee with wheels, and as you move it along, the wheels go flapping, and bzzz.
Okay.
And I think not through my dad, but through my mum's dad, I got that, my grandfather, and it got passed on to. I think it was from my older brother actually, but it got passed on, and
Yeah.
those things were tough and sturdy. But yeah, it was great. Yeah, the amount of mischief I managed to got myself and my brothers into, and my friends, and still got away blue murder. I don't know how. I had the gift of the gab, maybe because I'm part Irish, but I was able to talk my way out of trouble. Even to this day, I've still got that gift where I can talk my way out of trouble.
It's a good gift to have.
Believe me.
Oh yeah. We as kids, we had a really good childhood. I have one brother,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and our parents, we didn't have a lot of money. We actually lived on a farm for about 6, 7 years that my parents had to tend, and that was to pay for our rent, and none of that
yeah.
was ours. So we were kind of just, and they were both at this time disabled. So they were doing work they shouldn't have been doing in the first place.
Seriously.
Yeah, they worked their butts off, provided for us. As a kid, you don't really think much about it because you don't really know, because they didn't go
Yep.
around telling us everything that was wrong with them. We didn't find out until much later because they were just mom and dad, and they were always doing. I didn't know the extent of everything that was wrong with them.
Yeah, I can relate to that. To be honest,
Yeah.
I can totally relate to that. Yeah,
So I mean, that gave me my work ethic to. I don't know. I'd be embarrassed if I could work and didn't work. I don't know.
yeah,
That's just me.
yeah. I'm probably the same. Really, there's been a few times where in my working career I've should have stayed home,
Hmm.
but I managed. I took a serious fall, uh, and I just couldn't be stuff laying around sitting there. So I convinced the doctor that I was fine. And how he got me to convince was he got me to stand up and walk in a straight line.
Uh huh.
Um, I couldn't drive there, I was literally too sore. So my folks took me to the doctors. He says, right, if you're fine, if you can walk the straight line, you know, with no flinching, no pain, you're cleared to go back to work. So I walked the straight line. I hopped back in the car. And went, oh God! And my
Yeah.
mum says, "Are you sure you want to go back to work?" I said, "Oh, I've got to. I have to." But luckily,
Yeah.
I was really good friends with the supervisor, so he sort of covered my ass and put me on light duties until I became 100% fine. But because I think I went back to work early, it made my muscles work. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gave him the
yeah,
exercise you needed.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
without literally killing me.
Yeah. The I mean, I'm the same way. A couple years ago, I went down with congestive heart failure. I
Oh
actually
shit.
almost died in the hospital, and
Shit.
this is running up on 6 months where I hadn't worked. I was getting, at this point, disability is getting lower and lower and lower. How much I get
Yep.
a week, and I'm getting ready to lose my insurance. So I told my doctor, I was like, I have to go back next week. He's like, well, I really want you off another couple months. I go, well, do you want this bill paid? He's like, yeah. I go, then I have to go back next week. So
Yep.
magically, I was able to go back next week. And, but I've worked at this job for such a long time that if people see me trying to lift something I shouldn't, they're right over there helping me out. I don't even have to ask. It's just good people.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. A good team that makes a great difference. A big difference.
yeah. Unfortunately, like I said, I do have an office job for 90% of my job. So I don't have to overexert. I just have to work a lot of hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that helps pay for my hobbies. Like Motu and GI Joe ain't cheap.
No, it is not, my friend. And also going to toy fairs too is not cheap.
Looks like you have fun though. So
Yeah, it was the first one I actually got paid to go there, which
nice.
is pretty good actually. It
Yeah.
it sort of covered the expense of the diesel. And then I sort of banked the rest. Because I'm planning, well, the wife and I are planning on doing a trip to Fiji. So I've got to be real tight with my money,
Hmm.
real tight. Um, Only this year, of course, and then for next year I'll just go hard out. Hopefully,
Yeah. I have one trip planned every year. And that's Joe Fest. It's coming up
Joe
in less
Fest.
3 weeks. So very excited for that. We actually have a booth this year at Joe Fest. They they've got this uh, aisle set up for podcasts, and they offered
Yeah,
us one, so we took it. Yeah,
nice,
yeah. We're on
nice.
this. Our neighbors are Talking Joes and Chaplin's the System Motor Pod, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Oh, an Audible interlude. They're gonna be there too.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, we'll boost some subs. I don't know if we will, but we'll try.
Oh,
Get some
it's all about as
people
long as you
listening.
have fun, eh?
Oh yeah, but I mean, I like the idea. Like Ronnie said earlier. Yeah, a few subs here and there keeps them motivated. And
Yeah.
that's true. If you find people that appreciate what you do, it makes it so much easier to find a time to do what you love to do. Because I also love laying in bed watching TV.
Well, when I got up too early, I went, oh, well, I'm up now, so I might as well watch some few things on the couch.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you like to watch right now? Is there anything you're binge watching?
um, Believe it or not, I've gone back, and you said my childhood. So
Yeah.
this is crazy as I've gone back to watching the Terrorhawks on YouTube.
I don't think I know what
That's
that
like a
is.
puppet show, very similar to the Thunderbirds, if you know the
Okay.
Thunderbirds,
Yeah.
made by the same people. And then, lo and behold, that's another thing I'm watching. And I was like, I had the theme song of Joe 90 in my head. So now I'm started watching Joe 90 again. I get this. Every now and again, I'll be working away or doing something, and then something just pop in my head, and I go
Yeah.
like, I haven't heard that show in ages. Or and I go on YouTube and it'll just show up a list that you can see the full episodes.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the moment I'm watching Terrorhawk. You got to check it out. It's a bit weird, but it's different. It's definitely sort of British, New Zealand, Australian sort of cup of tea.
Nice.
It's got a ball sort of thing called Zeroids, and there's one that plays a sergeant major. It has the sergeant major voice, and it really cracks me up. And so I've been watching that lately, but it's my daughter sort of watched beside me, and it's based on these Martians, these cyborg Martians want to take over the world, but the Terrorhawks keep stopping him. And so one of them sort of laughs like a witch. And my daughter, who's quite young, looked over there like, I don't like this, Dad. And said, yeah. Wait until you're a little bit older to
Yeah.
see this.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite all-time shows is Doctor Who. Love it. Always have. I'm having trouble getting through this last season
I haven't
because
seen the last.
it's just. I mean, the season before this one was really good. I was happy with
Yeah,
it, but this season it's a struggle. I'm like four episodes into it, but I'm going to finish it because I've seen every other episode, even the old ones from back in the
the
'60s
60s and
and stuff.
70s,
Yeah,
80s.
yeah, yeah,
Like, would you like a jelly baby?
yeah, yeah. I
Tom
I love.
Baker?
Oh yeah, and I
Yeah,
like
I love Doctor Who. I think I showed
the.
you a picture of a teacup and teapot that I got from the local store here.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally love it.
yeah. Me too.
I
I'm the
I,
only one of
I
my
sort of
friends that do. Everybody else makes fun of me.
I quite often say to people, "Oh, I'm getting old," and go, "Oh, I need to regenerate." Or,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I've got one and a half hearts. I'm half Time Lord." I'm not really. Or I get a screwdriver. I'll get something, and I go like
My Sonic.
sonic screwdriver.
Yeah. But it's just fun stuff.
Yeah.
Now as a kid, did you have Joe's?
Oh yes. Yep. Yep. Most definitely. And I think I said this before. My first figure was Short Fuse, the Virgin 1.5, and they weren't Joe's back then. I believe Shark Eyes or Adam said, but so in Australia and New Zealand, they were called Action Man. They've
Yeah,
still carded the same as GI Joe. Um, still had the same code names. Still said they were like I think Short Fuse is from Chicago, Illinois, I believe.
I think so.
So yeah, but instead of saying GI Joe, just Action Man. But yeah, I loved it. Loved Joe. That wasn't the first figure we got as kids. So we got Star Wars first of all,
Hmm.
and it's funny that so we I remember this Christmas quite well actually. So my older brother got Luke Bespin's Luke Skywalker. I got the original Han Solo, and my younger brother got CP3O that falls apart.
Yeah.
Uh, and but my younger brother, he's become a more of a Star Wars fan,
Oh yeah.
and then I think the following couple of years or so, we got Joe. Then also got Transformers, but we only had like Transformers once. So my brother, oldest brother, this is it. My oldest brother is into Transformers,
Hmm.
and I'm going back to his place at the end of this month. So I would love to take a photo and I would love to film it. So he's a massive Transformer fan. I'm a massive GI Joe fan, probably because I always wanted to get into the military.
Hmm.
And my younger brother, or the Barracks podcast,
Yep.
um, Star Wars. But here, we did have Joes. We played with Joes a lot, but um, then we sort of branch out to our own brand. So so yeah, I had Short Fuse. My oldest brother had Flash, and I always get this wrong. I think Quentin either had Grunt or Zap, but Grunt or Zap got run over
Hmm.
with a lawnmower, and my dad felt real goody and brought either one the following day.
Yeah.
And that was at Christmas. Oh, we played with them heaps, to be honest. I
Yeah.
still got my short fuse. It's not in the best condition, so I brought another one. And then the following year, we decided to get out of our own pocket money for Christmas, buy some more Joes. So then I got Snake Eyes, my oldest brother got Stalker, and I believe my youngest brother got Breaker.
Hmm.
But we brought it,
Yeah.
but we decided what to do is then package them up and wait until Christmas Day to open them. So that's a lot of dedication.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. But oh man, I play with that heaps. Like I love that Snake Eyes and Short Fuse. And then it got real quiet after a while. Like we didn't actually see Joe until '86,
86 was a
and
good
it was
year for
actually
Joe.
yeah, and then it was actually branded as GI Joe. And
Nice.
I
Did
remember going to the toy store and I was like, "What is this?" Like I knew the cartoons, I
uh-huh.
knew the cartoons and all that, and then boom, I was addicted. That was my drug of choice.
Oh yeah.
I was in.
Once I got GI Joe, I started trading off my Star Wars figures for Joe's,
Yeah.
and because like you, I wanted to be in the military so bad, but uh, when I tried to join, they said I was high risk for diabetes, so they wouldn't let me. And I didn't get diabetes for another 20 years.
Oh,
So
you're joking.
yeah, and I imagine I probably would have been in better shape if they would let me join.
Yeah.
I probably
Um,
wouldn't have it.
I tried to join twice actually. Yeah. So when I first tried to join, I failed on the written, and the recruiting sergeant says, "Come back in 6 months' time. The test is going to be completely the same. Just concentrate on this part." It's all right. Did that. I come back, pass that part, but I failed on the medical. I passed the physical, but I failed on the medical due to my back.
Mhm.
But I really want to get in. So I had this bright idea. Since Quentin and I were pretty similar, so but mind you, he was bigger built. I figured, hey, he could join for me, and then we'll swap identities. So basically, I'll go, I'll go in the army as Quentin, and I am actually Campbell. So I'm actually M Campbell. So he goes in there, does all that. I even, you know, tutored him on the test and all that, and yeah, sweet as. But because he was a little bit heavier, but he also had one hell of a temper, he came out and just said, "Oh, you're a little bit heavier. You're a little bit too heavy." Um, but he goes out to the recruiting sergeant. He says, "You telling me that these? I can't really swear. I won't swear. But these sorry asses, when I get wounded, can't pick me up. What type of army is this?" And I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for him. He comes out. I said, "Bro, how'd it go?" He said, "Yeah, you're not getting in. You're never getting in." Like what? And he told me, and I said, bro, all we need to do is actually lose a few kgs and you're in." I
Yeah,
said, "What did you do?" I said, "I lost my temper." I said, "Oh," but it was meant to be. So
yeah,
I figured myself there was a reason why I couldn't get in the military, even though I was pretty much devastated, and I got into a state of early depression. So I'm in high school. I didn't know what depression was. So I went to school, and lo and behold, I could not speak. I didn't have a cold. I didn't have the flu. I just couldn't talk. I went to answer a question. I couldn't talk, and I was out for about close to a month or so.
hmm,
And back in the day, like they didn't actually know much about it. So I think I become right. I just sort of something clicked and just went, "Nah, you're ready to go back to school." So then I just focused on something else because I was really shit scared that, well, that's what I want to do for a career. I've trained all my high school life to do this. I
mhm,
don't know what to do in the future. So I had a bit of anxiety and depression but yeah, that's only G.I. Joe was my turning point. G.I. Joe, oh my god, G.I. Joe saved me. Reading the comics, watching the cartoons, playing with the Joes, yeah, even in high school. That helped me. That literally helped me. Honestly.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we're from the golden age of toys.
Oh yes.
and cartoons.
Oh, the 80s. Oh my god, it was just there was so much there, and there were actually proper toys for kids, not toys
Yep.
for collectors,
Hmm.
toys for kids. I mean, I've got 2 young kids, and I go around, the toys and all that, like, they go to their Barbies. There's a lot of Barbies around, I'll give them that,
Yeah.
but I go around with the boys' parties, and there's not much.
No.
There's not much. There's mainly action figure toys for collectors, and they're charging them here in New Zealand, they're charging them for the collectors.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can go in any store and find Transformers,
Yeah.
Marvel, but I have a hard time finding Motu and GI Joe anymore.
Yeah.
That's uh, that's all I care about. A few McFarlane DCs, I like those, but
Yeah.
rarely. But
Oh,
all
yeah.
those are getting hard to find.
Yeah, and it breaks my heart. Like, I honestly think it's a great brand.
Hmm.
So what's and I know in the 60s, during the 60s, like the Vietnam War, they stopped that and made it action team.
Yeah, Adventure
But
Team.
G.I. Joe, yeah, but it was still going. It was still going,
Yeah.
and it slowed down for a bit. And then the 80s came along, and G.I. Joe was on fire.
Hmm.
So, is it because of the conflict around the world? Is that what's killing Joe?
I don't know. I know classified sells well, but it sells well to adults.
Yeah,
Doesn't sell well to kids or parents that buy them for their kids.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Like,
Kids,
like,
kids want screens.
like this toys. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Kids watch screens. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a sad thing. I mean, like we had video games, but we were not semi addicted to it. I mean,
Right.
semi. I say that I say that loosely, but we knew when to stop, do our homework, eat. Still had time to play. I used to play hockey outside.
Oh, nice.
My brother played cricket, and I tried rugby. But I did. We had like a gridiron team in high school, so I had a pretty good. Before I had glasses, I had a pretty good throwing arm, so I was like a quarterback. And obviously, I think my bro was the defender. I did wrestling. I did wrestling a lot, so we still had time to play with toys. And then I hear, and I'm even guilty of this, that these days people say, "I don't have time for this." Really?
Yeah.
Or you're just saying because you're just sort of like glued to your phones? And I'm guilty of this too, or glued to your tablets. And then before you realize, 15 minutes is turned to an hour and a half, and you go,
Hmm.
"Shit, I've got to go to work. I've got no time to do this."
Yeah. I know they say the average person touches their phone 2,000 times a day.
Yeah,
And I believe it. I
yeah, I
really
believe it.
do.
Yep. When I was working on the farm, no, yeah, I hardly got a chance to do that, and then I became the farm manager. But their phone was actually for work, so I was ringing up
Mhm.
suppliers, I was ringing up my staff, I was ringing up. So my phone ended up being my onboard, my sort of computer.
Right.
And then it wasn't until I actually got away from the farm and went back to my original type of work, which is sheet metal working. Lo and behold, I'm now like, you sort of like put your hand on your pocket and you go, "Oh no, I'm touching my phone. No, 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 I should be working."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I try to leave my phone at my desk when I'm out on the floor doing stuff,
yeah,
but sometimes I gotta take it with me because I need to take pictures of something. Then I'll
yeah,
just pull it out and check for messages. I'm like, it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, exactly. Or another deadly thing is that, and I did this for a while. Um, last year, last year was pretty bad. The first thing I wake up in the morning, I'll grab my phone and I used to check the YouTube studio, like how did my
Mm,
video go, and
yeah,
that was pretty bad. That was real bad. So that's probably why this year I'm a bit more relaxed. I'm not pumping out as much videos as I should be doing,
oh,
but I'm kind of want to do the best work possible.
Right.
and also I'm doing other like stuff outside of life has gotten away. So I've got to concentrate my life with my kids, my wife, my family, and then if I got time, then I'll start doing the work on my videos. I've got a lot of bright ideas. I've got hundreds of ideas, and literally I said, "Oh, I don't have time."
Hmm.
I literally don't. By the time I've got the kids to bed and all that, you're like exhausted. Like, that video will wait. I'll start work on that video tomorrow.
Yeah. Now your
Yeah,
kids are younger, right?
yeah. I start off real late, so I'm 51, and my oldest daughter's going to be turning 8 this year, and my youngest is 6,
Nice. Fun
and they
time.
are good. They are good kids. I remember with my little man cave, and I'm going to see if I can try and move this into my man cave.
Hmm.
um, but I took away my Joes outside. It was a nice day, no wind, so I took the cabinets outside because I wanted to put a plywood um, wall up, just like a feature wall, a plywood
Hmm.
feature wall. But I need to remove the cabinets. My girls do not touch. They know not to touch the Joes. They know not to play with them. They were like real respectful. Would I trust my nephews and nieces? No, not really. I do love them. I do love my,
Of
but
course,
no, I
yeah.
wouldn't trust them.
Yeah.
And they were like really good. So it took me about a day to. I think I got some photos on it too. So it took me about a day to put this plywood feature wall. Had some leftover plywood, so then I made some plywood shelves. Um, and the good thing about that, I've left it as it is. I haven't painted it. I just left the grooves on there. It's soon I'm going to be taking taking the shelves out and painting the walls white. So if we look at moving, I've said this before. We look at moving. We'll probably look at turning that into an office.
Oh,
So that's my idea. Is basically don't do too much changes, but make it subtle enough that like obviously a buyer will come in and go, "Yep, I like this. I can see it as an office." Then or a studio, an art studio.
yeah. This used to be me and my wife's bedroom,
Oh
but
wow,
as the kids started moving out, we moved upstairs because this is our basement.
nice.
And she's like, "You can make it your toy room." I'm like, "Okay." So that's what I did. Very lucky to have a supportive wife. I say it all the time, but I mean it.
Yep.
I'm sure you know
Oh,
that this would be such a hard hobby if you didn't have someone supportive with you.
I've got a funny story to tell you that, and that's later on. But yeah, my wife is really supportive. Just lately, my mother-in-law isn't. Um, so her and I are butting heads at the moment.
I get
She
that.
literally wants me to stop not only the hobby but stop the YouTube. And I'm saying no, it's my way out. That's my way to express. I've had these ideas and I'm having a ball, I'm having a fun, a lot
Yeah.
of fun and times. I would love to get my girls involved. I've had a couple of voiceovers with my girls, but my wife and I totally respect that. She doesn't want our girls' faces shown in social media.
I
And
get
I
that.
said, I totally respect that. I do. I'm not gonna fight you on that. I totally respect it. Um, and the girls really wanted to. They copy me. We got them like little cameras. They
Hmm.
actually do work. And I'm sitting there having my coffee or breakfast, and they're vlogging away, and they're sounding just like me. Like they're blogging their own toys and brands. They're probably going to end up being more successful than I would ever dream of, and that's what every parent wants.
Yeah, I mean that's what
Yeah,
we all hope for. That's
yeah,
what we all work for.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a quote. Funny enough, there's a quote from the Undertaker, and my dad used to say it too. The sacrifices we make today make it easier for our kids tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah,
Speaking of Undertaker, you a wrestling fan?
huge wrestling fan. Huge.
Yep.
Um, I'm trying to jack up a live stream probably in the next couple of weeks or so. Talk about like wrestlers and all that. So we'll
Uh-huh.
get a few people on board, and I've got a cardboard cutout of the Undertaker, which I'll bring up in the background.
Is he your
And I mean
favorite?
old school.
Is he
Sorry,
your is he your all-time favorite wrestler?
it's a tie between Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker. When I got depressed and all that, I ended up being quite shy. So that's when wrestling came quite strong in the 90s
Oh yeah.
here in New Zealand, 80s and 90s. So then I looked at, and I say G.I. Joe changed my life, so did wrestling. So
Yeah.
wrestling gave me my voice back and probably then some. So Shawn Michaels, the model, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, and all that. I knew that was an act. That was a sort of like them to do that. But I sort of adopted that, and I'm mellowed down enough. I've mellowed down heaps, but I used to do that a lot. And then lo and behold, the Undertaker came on board, and he's a strong, silent man. And I thought, yeah, yeah, you don't need to be a big show
Mm-mm.
off person. You can be quiet and humble and still be the big dog, you know,
You know,
his yard.
I've seen him wrestle live
Yeah,
in
me too.
Indianapolis,
Twice.
and it was so fun.
Yeah.
Uh,
They've traveled down to New Zealand probably quite a few times. And the first time he went to New Zealand, I think I saw an interview. He was wrestling against Kirk Angle in New Zealand. And he was being interviewed and he goes, "Oh, I don't think the people in New Zealand like us." And he says, "You're wrong." They were so speechless. They can't believe that the wrestlers, the WWE wrestlers, are here in New Zealand.
yeah,
And the more shows he did, the crowd got bigger and louder, and
yeah.
they don't do it so often now. I sort of I get into wrestling and then I shy away from it, and then I get into it and I shy away from it.
Me
Um,
too.
but because it's now on Netflix, and my oldest daughter loves wrestling, she wants me to come out of retirement and train her. When I have taught her some moves, um, but yeah, we it's normally her and we watched WrestleMania together. That was awesome. That was great actually. And she's more into the female. The female wrestlers have come a long way.
They have, yes.
They have come a long. I'm really impressed. So yeah, my oldest daughter's into the female wrestling. So I'm hunting around for a toy wrestling belt for her.
You know, I do everything I can not to buy wrestling figures.
Yeah,
I don't I
yeah.
don't I want to, but I don't want to. Because
I'll give you a sneak peek what's going to be coming on, and this is for my mum. So this is going to be. Oh, here's a camera.
it,
Oh, it's pulled apart at the moment. So I'm going to be making a GI Joe Macho Man Randy Savage
nice.
figure for her. I've already got a Macho Man figure for her that I got toy fair,
Yeah.
but yeah. So I'm going to be making a Macho Man Randy Savage GI Joe style figure for her, for my mum, and she loves Macho Man.
Does she like it when Quentin does the voice?
Ooh yeah. My younger brother does it so well, and that's
He
something we're going
does.
to do in the wrestling live stream. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I just got to work out schedules and all that and time frames, but
Well, I
yeah,
definitely
we'll
want to
get it.
watch, so let me know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's gonna be fun. I'm the same way. I can go without watching wrestling for a long time, catch
Yeah,
it on Netflix, and I'm just right back into it. You know, my
yeah.
wife's the same way with soap operas, and I told her I was like, it's just a guy version of soap operas. That's all it is.
It is really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the storylines are silly, but it's fun. As long as you don't take it seriously, you can have a
Did you
great
watch
time.
the? Sorry to interrupt you. Did you watch the Mr. McMahon
I did.
documentary?
Yes.
That
Yes.
was interesting.
Very
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
like I knew some of the shady stuff. I think shady side of him. They haven't actually sort of tell a lot, but yeah, that was super interesting. That was really, and the Chris Benoit sort of thing as well. Yeah, that's what I got out of it because I got like, way too many concussions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. For sure. I remember when it happened with Chris Benoit, and I was just like, "You gotta be kidding me." I mean, I
yeah,
get it, but what he did, I don't know.
yeah, yeah. So as a performer, probably one of the best.
Yeah,
And I think I've heard this from Paul Heyman. as a human being, yeah, I've got a question. Why he must be going through a lot in his mind to do something like that.
But as a parent, I could
Yeah.
never hurt my kids over anything.
Nah,
I would
nah.
die to keep them from harm.
Yeah, yeah. Most definitely. Most definitely. Like my oldest daughter is far better with heights than I am. I was used to be pretty good at heights, and she's climbing around, and I'm underneath her, like catching her like a. Says, "I'm fine, Dad. I'm fine."
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of heights, but I do okay.
I've got a little bit better. I was okay, but then I had a major accident.
Mm,
So yeah, I used to rock climb abseil. Then I had an accident at work, and it was two things. It made me mistrust people, and heights was a big thing. So I fell from a mezzanine floor, and we had a major flood in Hawke's Bay. And the forklift driver, we were moving stuff up on the mezzanine floor
mhm.
to protect the stuff from the water. And I was up on the mezzanine floor, and so the forklift will, with a pallet, get the stuff, and I'll take it. And I told the forklift driver to move in closer, and he said he couldn't, and he had a good couple of feet or so, easy as, and he didn't. And I went to step on a shelf, but the shelf was not bolted, so
Mm.
my leg went straight through, hitting head first. My arm caught the drill press, which made me turn my direction, and I bounced off a lathe. So if it wasn't for the drill press and the lathe to break my fall, I would not be here today.
Yeah,
I was going
that
literally going head first.
you know,
Um,
that's
they
scary,
said
very
yeah, it was
scary.
scary. That
Yeah,
I can't remember much. They said I shot up like Superman, and then I fell straight back down. And I recall being woken up with my chest killing me, and the engineer is basically doing CPR and all that. Um, so yeah, lucky. My knees are shot because of that fall, and also with heights, if I know the ladder's secure, I'll go up. If I think it's dodgy, I won't go
yeah,
near it.
don't blame you.
Yeah, and
One of
also I don't sort of trust people. If a person says, "No, it's good as gold," nah,
I'm gonna check
nah.
myself.
I'll check myself. Like, is that secure? Doesn't feel
Yeah,
secure. I'm not going up.
oh, definitely. Uh, what would be your favorite movie of all time?
Easy, easy as the Delta Force. That is my
Okay,
go-to movie.
Chuck
That's
Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah,
Yep. Lee Majors. Lee Majors? No. What's
I
his
don't think so.
no? What's his name? Lee Majors is the $6 million man. Yeah, the Delta Force.
Nice.
Sorry, if you hear glass, that's the recycling outside. But yeah, that is my go-to movie. Even when I'm sick to this day, I've got it on DVD. I put it
Mhm.
on and watch it.
Before the internet, when you can just watch it whatever you want. Every
Yeah,
time I got the flu, my go-to was all three Godfathers. I just put them all in one after the other, and every time I was sick, that's what I would do.
it's funny how as human beings we do that. We put on something that's like it's our comfort.
Yeah,
It's yeah, makes us feel good.
yeah. I actually looked forward to getting sick back then. Now, have you always collected toys, or was there a time where toys wasn't a part of your life?
Uh yeah, I stopped collecting toys when I hit. I'm pretty much a late bloomer. No, no, actually, even when I was working, I didn't broadcast it, my
Mhm.
toys, but when I was working, make my own money, I still go to the toy shop and go, oh yep, there's sci-fi, like I'm talking about the 90s area with the spring loaded.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the spring loaded, but the grey version of sci-fi, which is instead of the neon color,
yeah.
I was like, yeah, mint. I recall I didn't have a car back in the day, so Napier and Hastings is a fair distance away. I knew of a toy shop in Napier, and I push bike from Hastings all the way to Napier to one city to another city just to get this. What was it? I believe it was Stalker, the Talking Commander Stalker,
Okay.
and I also got Deep Six with his dolphin Finback. I figured if I'm doing a trip by bike, I might as well make the. I think I got something else as well. But
Make it
yeah,
worth it.
I've
Yeah.
always collected, but then yeah, unfortunately, when Joe sort of stopped, like in the 2000s ish, or it became like real skinny, like
Hmm.
the modern Joes. I brought one or two, and I wasn't really impressed. I was like, nah, that's not Joe. They look okay, but I can't put them with my Joe. Yeah,
The big shoulders.
yeah, big shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was a kind of a disappointment. I was gonna say, I was thinking to myself, Hasbro, what are you doing? Like, who's in charge?
Yeah. I collect. Well, I say collected. I didn't collect toys as a kid. I played with them,
Yeah,
and I would still get them up into my teens. I would just keep them under my bed when friends come over. I played with
in a
them
box.
longer than I probably should have,
Same
but
here.
I enjoyed it. It
Yeah.
it was fun. I read comics a lot,
Oh,
so I got to work in a comic book shop for like 6 years part time.
oh, you lucky bugger.
Yeah, so I got everything at 50% off, and I never
Yeah,
got paid. I always got store credit, and I would turn that
yeah,
into my hobbies.
yeah,
And huge Star Trek fan, so I'd got the yeah. I would get the Playmates Star Trek figures when they came out in the 90s.
yep, yeah, yeah. That's with Picard and
Yeah, Picard and even
yep. So
Deep Space Nine and Voyager, all that. I would get them all. I never opened them. I just pegged them on my wall,
yeah,
and I've actually started
yeah,
going back and getting those again
yeah.
because you
They
can get
come
them.
back again.
Well, I mean, you can go to used toy stores and get them for $5 on card still.
Yeah,
So I'm like, rip, put them up.
we my brothers and I are huge Star Wars and Trekkie fans, and I recall Saturday morning. This is how the lineup was, and I believe it was like there's a show that was called What Now on Saturday, and they'd show a series of cartoons and whatnot. And then after that, there'll be um, Star Trek. Then there was Hogan's Heroes, or maybe it was Get Smart, then Hogan Heroes, and then either Battlestar Galactica or Bonanza. I can't say that last one
Bonanza.
properly. It's probably my head injury. Um, but Star Trek, and I remember, and so I played Captain Kirk. So we got the chair, we got the radio. My brother was the radio expert, and what was my younger brother? He was driving. He is one hell of a good driver. So he was the helmsman, and
Yeah.
we just pretend we were on the Starship Enterprise in our room. And then when we love the movies, oh my god, I've got all the movies on DVD. Yeah, literally love them. And then when the series came back, um, Next Generation, love that. I
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
into Deep Space Nine to begin with. I
Love it.
picked it up on the third season, and then I was like, "What the hell have I just missed?" Like, this is a really good show. Thank God for Netflix now that I can
Right.
go back. Yeah,
Yeah. Out of
Deep
all
Space
the
Nine.
90s, Deep Space Nine's my favorite.
Yeah, Deep Space Nine is by far. I think is my favorite now.
Yeah.
It was a more darker. It didn't start off that well. It started off real slow, but my God, once it picked up traction and got the right storyline, oh, they owned it.
Yeah. I love Star Wars. I like what they're doing with like me and my wife's watching season 2 of Andor right now.
Yeah,
Uh
I've got to finish watching the first one.
oh, so good.
It's
But the movies, the way they've been doing the movies is not great, but they've been
no
killing it on the shows, I
on the
think.
shows. Yeah, absolutely. Like the Mandalorian, and I see there's going to be the Mandalorian and Goku movie,
Mhm. Yeah,
and I'm like, please don't stuff it up,
yeah, yeah.
please.
Well, it's like, Book of Boba Fett. I loved it.
Oh,
Give me a second season. I'll watch it.
yeah, yeah. It's hard to believe that he ended up being the hero,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he was a bounty hunter, so he was always out for the paycheck.
Right.
He wasn't really a villain as such.
Well,
But I want to know there's obviously a history between Han Solo and Boba Fett. I've never really read the books, but yeah, I want to see if they do another Boba Fett series.
I'd
Hopefully,
love
they
that.
could show what was the history between those two.
I would also like to have a second season of Obi-Wan. I thought that was really good.
I think it is in the making, isn't it? Or they
I
stopped
don't
it.
know. I'm hoping. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, but
So,
they're doing really well with the series.
but if you gun to my head, I take Star Trek over Star Wars. That's just the way
Yeah.
I am. So is there any Grail items that you would like to pick up?
Oh, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It will have to be there's two of them and it come in a set. It had to be Palo and Hardtop.
Oh,
That is the two figures that even when you get them here in New Zealand and they're beaters, they go
yeah,
for an incredible amount of price. That's probably why I custom made my own hardtop.
yeah.
So I'm one of these guys that if I can't get it, I say, okay, what's the chance of me trying to make something that's pretty close to looking hardtop and call them hardtop?
That's nice.
Um, yeah.
I wish I had that talent because what you do is amazing. Did
I
did you
think
do it
it's
as a kid or just over
well.
the last
Funny
years?
thing is, my first ever custom is I got the figure of Raptor and
Mhm.
I took off the bird head off, and to me he looked a little bit like Sartain. So then
Yeah.
I got the some brown material and I made the cloth over the Sartain, and
Mhm.
then just did a repaint. And for a very long time he was Sartain
Nice.
because you can get Raptor like dime a dozen
Yeah.
in New Zealand. Now they're pretty much people want him now. He's got a kind of a following now, a
Yeah.
cult. But yeah, so that would be my first custom. Repairs. I didn't start doing repairs until I did started working in an engineering firm, and then I come to realize there's more than one way to look at other things. So don't look at a toy and say, "Oh, it's broken." What's the way I can repair it? It's already broken. If I
Yeah.
can't fix it, there's no loss. Okay, it's broken. Well, what can I turn it into? Can I customize something out of it? I can use like a body part, like swap legs over, or
Mhm.
can I make him into something else? He or she.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'll say the must have been 14, 15 is when I first customized some Joes. And it's about Sardine. Sardine, I don't know where that figure is now. That was actually my oldest brother's Raptor. But he shied away from G.I. Joe and went into Transformers. So we made a deal. I said, like, and a few of those figures, like the 12-inch Action Man and a few of those figures, I brought off my brother.
Mhm.
I go, like, man, look, I'm into Joe a lot. Look, here's some money.
Yeah.
And we came with a really good deal. And yeah, off we go. And then, because he couldn't drive, because my oldest brother's got a disability. So I didn't rip him off. So, all right, we'll go to the toy shop. And I often said to him, like, all right, pick out something that you like. Boom, that's it. Sweet as. Or a video game. He's starting in the video games or DVDs. He's got a mountain collection of DVDs. And yeah, we walk away happy.
Yeah.
Happy as. I think I walked away with a better deal, actually, considering that a lot of the vintage Joes have now gone up in price. And it scares me. It literally scares me because I know this plastic isn't going to last. So
Yeah.
how do I protect it as much as I can?
Yeah. No, for sure. Do you
Yeah.
ever just look at a toy and you imagine what you're gonna make it into when you first pick it up? You're like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this," because
Yeah.
I don't have that mind where I can look at something and think, "Man, I'm gonna change this." But I know a lot of you guys just Do you see it before you start?
I can picture it in my head. Then I've got to find the body parts to make the figure. So as I said, with the Macho Man custom I'm doing here, I've got Monkey Wrench's head, I've got Bazooka's body, then I got Zanzibar's arms, and then I got Trekker's waist piece, and then I got a Leonard Core's leg, and then another Leonard Core's lower leg. So I know what a wrestler looks like. I mean, pictures actually help too. So
Yeah.
pictures actually help. Um, so like with Fred here. So I've got Fred, and it's just the hooded, the Fred 6 or 7. I need to get
7,
this
yeah.
written down. Yeah. So that is Deep Six's head, but I managed to got another. I don't know where I've got it. I managed to got another helmet, and I hollowed it out so the helmet fits on him.
That's awesome.
But yeah. That's how I sort of envision things actually. So like a figure that's already there, like say for instance hardtop.
Mhm.
You go, what's the closest thing I can use to make hardtop? And you take certain figures, and that's pretty close. I haven't got a 3D printer. I'm still using the old school Milliput or hot glue gun.
Mhm.
I'm going to try the green stuff. Green stuff
Yeah.
I want to really try, and that's I think foot. I'll have to look back on our um, group chat that we had,
Mhm.
and I was like, man, I need to use this. I need to try it out and use it. And it's pretty cheap here in New Zealand, about $11. So I'll get myself some. But yeah, I think it's because we didn't like yourself. We weren't a rich family. We were pretty poor. We looked after our toys.
Mhm.
Um, because we knew if we break them, that's it. Mum and Dad
Yeah.
couldn't afford to buy another one. Uh, I do recall back in the day, I didn't know O-rings, like when they fell apart, well, that's it, they did. And I
Right.
gave them a funeral. And then when I got a little bit older, like, this is 8 when I got like 15 or 16, you go, oh, that's an O-ring for my hose. Oh, I know where I buried them. And sure as shit, dig them up, and they're still in their, in their boxes, they're clear plastic, and they're pretty much preserved, actually. So you dig them up and bring them back to life.
That's awesome. I used to try to fix them with, like, rubber bands and stuff.
Yeah,
We just lived on this farm and that I don't know. I like you, we respected our toys
yeah,
because we're just thankful to have them.
yeah,
We've had friends that get everything they want and they don't take care of their stuff. But
yeah.
we knew how hard our parents worked for things and we didn't take it for granted.
That's something that really I love my daughters, but they
Mhm.
they take things for granted. Like I try to tell my wife, like, you don't need to buy them everything.
Mm-mm.
They need to learn that they can't get everything. And if they want something, they need to work for it. When I was a kid. Um, so yeah, I'm basically the enforcer in the house. It's a role I didn't want to do, but someone's got to do it, and I do it
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, I mean, in the long run, they'll be better off. They'll be happier for it.
Yeah,
So, you're
yeah,
doing the right
exactly.
thing. Right. So, man, I feel like I didn't have to hit any of this list to go an hour. You know what I mean?
Oh
But I
shit.
do have one question I love asking. I've probably asked you in the past, but give me it can be from a movie, a old toy line, a cartoon, a book series, anything that you want toys made for, that you would just be like, I'm buying every single toy that comes out.
You know what? I've been waiting for this question, and a couple of years ago, I rewatched Blake Seven. Have you ever heard of Blake Seven?
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Oh, it is a really interesting show, really bizarre but interesting. Um, so Blake Seven, basically the character line, Blake is a rebel of this Federation. The Federation controls people and all this. So he and 7 other characters, or 6 actually, were prisoners. They were going to be executed. Going on a ship, they find the Liberator, this massive warship. But they wanted people to go on because they sent soldiers along and they were dying. So they went on, and I think Blake sort of, for some reason, it's been so long since I've seen this, convinced the ship that they're all good. So the ship becomes the 7th component, because
Mhm.
the ship is living. So I would love to have that as a toy line, even if it's just die cast of the ship itself, but the action figure of that.
Yeah.
The character Avon, Blake and Avon struggled with leadership. And it also got to the point where Avon decided that Blake's actions were too reckless and too unlogical, and so he wanted out. It says, right, next we'll do this mission and then I'm out. But then Avon ended up leading Blake 7 because the character Blake, left the show. And I don't know why they still call it Blake 7, but they did. And it was more like Avon. Avon, have you ever heard the saying, the 2IC is actually the man in charge?
Yeah.
Yep. So Avon was like the second in charge, but literally he was really the man in charge. Like Blake had the ideal. He had the ideal, the idea to take over the Federation, but people were mainly following Avon's ideas. And then Avon, towards the end, decided to do everything what Blake was doing. Roles reverse. But yeah, check it out. Put it on YouTube. I don't know if you can find a full series, but you can find bits and pieces of Blake 7, especially Avon. Oh, he was such a badass character. But yeah, there's all 7 characters. Like the Federation, you can get a whole heap of Federation soldiers and armor build them. They'd be quite
Yeah.
brilliant. They had the woman in charge. I can't remember her name. Let's just call her Sylvia. That's not her name, but she was the main villain. She was the main woman in charge, and it was really hard to kill her. There was another crack shot. He just wanted to kill Blake. He knew Blake in the past. He just wanted to kill him. But the ship, the Liberator, oh my god, it was beautiful. And there was a computer called Aurak, and my younger brother can do the sound for Aurak so well, so well. And we used to play this a lot when we were doing road trips, and I'll go
Mhm.
Aurak, and we just do that. Like I can't do it, but he does this humming, talking sound. It's just brilliant. Yeah, we grew up with Blake 7. I want to say it was either that or Battlestar Galactica, but I know they did it as a toy line. I'll tell you what, so Blake 7, and I'm into Reacher.
Oh yeah.
So I'd like to see Reacher as a toy line too.
Yep.
But if I was a kid, if you were asking Campbell right now as a kid-ish, Blake 7. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. Doctor Who. Who's your favorite Doctor?
Tom Baker. Oh,
Uh,
there's 2 actually. Tom Baker or Matt Smith.
Matt Smith and John Petrie's mine too, because
Oh, yes.
I
Yeah.
separate originals from the newer ones.
My mother, I believe she met John Petrie. So he came to New Zealand. He was actually quite a performer in all this.
Mhm.
He did a show called Wurzel Gummidge. He played a scarecrow. A really bizarre show. But yeah, Doctor Who. Doctor Who. I grew up watching Doctor Who. I haven't seen the new season. I really want to. I just don't know how to watch it, if you know what I mean. I don't know if
Uh,
I've outgrown Doctor Who
oh,
or
I don't think I'll ever outgrow Doctor Who because it's just so fun. But
um
like I said, I'm struggling with this new season, but I will finish it.
yeah, I got used to the female Doctor Who,
I loved her. She
and
was great.
a lot of people were up in arms and she started off slow, but she suddenly picked up traction, and I was like, I'm into this. And she
Mhm.
when she regenerated into back to David Tennant, I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I've got to finish watching those series for the go into the newer Doctor. But I don't know. I really want to get into it. I just don't know why I'm not into it.
Yeah.
But yet
Yeah.
my workmate is watching the new Doctor Who, and he
Mhm.
tells me what's happening. And I'm like, you're giving me out too much information, mate. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Like River. Spoilers.
But I used to go around with a bag full of jelly babies in my trench coat pocket. And I used to approach people like Tom Baker. So he was a real crazy character. Like
Yes.
I think I don't know when, but it wasn't an episode where he flips a coin and says heads I go left, tails I go
Mhm.
right. Lands on heads and he still goes right.
Yeah. He was something
But whenever
else.
he meets anyone, it was like, boom, jelly baby.
Yeah.
And it throws and it works. It throws people off. It goes like, what? I recall when I was quite younger and I was real cocky like at work. I was like untouchable and I was in trouble. And so I called into this meeting and I said, jelly baby. and and it worked. It basically, yeah, I got myself out of trouble with that one just by the jelly.
You can learn a lot from Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Well, I have had a really good time.
no worries.
Uh, like we're gonna have you back on the show soon.
Yeah,
Maybe get you and your brother back on for an episode because we had a
almost definitely.
great time when we had you both on, and
Um,
he's so funny.
I was going to say there's almost one. There's a question that you quite often ask people: is that buyer's remorse?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. We were talking
So,
about so much other stuff.
so I was going to say that I don't have buyer's remorse, but I do have seller's remorse. So when you sold something,
Uh huh.
so what I used to do on TradeMe is, as I said before, is New Zealand's version of eBay. So when a new version of Snake Eyes come out, I would sell the old version, like distro and all that. And then I met my wife, and my wife said to me, "If you're a collector, you be a true collector of all their versions." So yes, I ended up having to buy on TradeMe the stuff I sold. So that's my not buyer's remorse, but seller's remorse.
That's a good one though. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure I've sold stuff that I didn't want to sell, like some comic books or something.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. There is. I recall now. So I'm building a spray booth. Also doing figures. Also building a spray booth.
mhm.
And I've got into Night Force in a big way. But I had the shark. I had a spare shark, and I sold it.
Yeah,
And now I'm like, that's dumb.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
literally dumb. You could paint that the Night Force colors. There's a few vehicles I sold, and I'm like, that's dumb. A few figures I sold, and it's dumb. I
I
brought
think,
majority of them back, but it's cost me a
yeah.
lot.
Oh yeah. I think a tomahawk would be great. Uh, Night forced out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm trying to hunt around for another broken one,
Yeah,
like the one I got for $20.
yeah.
That was a steal.
Yeah, I can just imagine like the front glass being like that red instead of the.
Oh yeah, I've got
I,
some clear red. Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it'd be so cool.
Yeah.
But let everybody know where they can find you at.
Oh, easy, easy. So I'm on, Kiwi. Actually, where's my phone? So obviously, you can find me on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. Same here, Kiwi G.I Customs. I can't put the whole collections and all that sort of bullshit. So I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and obviously YouTube, and also the On the Barracks podcast, which
Yep.
is that's slowly picking up pace. But we're not about the numbers on that channel. That there is a space so that I've got other toy lines that I can work on,
Hmm.
so it doesn't interfere with GI Joe.
but you also get to work with your brother.
Yes,
So
yes, yeah, and it's been a while since we've done that. So because he works night shifts, it's hard to work out a good schedule. Um, we can talk amongst ourselves. That's not a problem, but it's hard to get guests on
yeah,
our show. Like we would like to have you and Eric on the show.
we would love that.
And honestly, I look at probably this time, like if Eric's available on Monday. Well, for me it's a Monday, but it's Sunday. But we could probably make it work. We'll make something work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Definitely make it work.
Yep.
Never say never. Never say never.
Well, I just want to thank you again for coming on.
Oh no, my
Show,
pleasure.
shows like this mean a lot to me because I get to spend an hour or so with a friend that I don't get to see that much, and you know, very very thankful.
You're most
So,
welcome, mate.
all right. With that being said, I will see you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.